In today's video, we are going to be heading into the forest to take some very majestical portraits. To accentuate this majestical feel even more, I arranged massive angel wings. So in this video, I'm also going to be explaining to you how I use natural lighting for my portraits. We're going to be heading into the redwood forest, and this is a forest with massive trees. They're very tall and long, or at least that's where I thought we were going to shoot. It did not go as planned. Do you know if there's any other entrances to the redwood forest?
No, this is the only entrance.
No, this is the only entrance. Yeah. So the location didn't really work out, so we had to think quick because we were losing lighting. So we just drove a bit further down into the forest and found a very nice dense part where we parked our car, and then the parkour started. It literally was a bit of a hike to get to the location, but it was definitely worth it. So the first location was a very nice laneway with nice greenery around it, so I felt like this was the perfect spot to start using my 85mm to create that nice compressed look.
Yeah, nice. Wow.
When we started shooting, I also said to her that the vibe is very dreamy, so this way she knew how to pose and what facial expressions would be suitable for this shoot. For the second location, I really wanted to get some shots that she was really surrounded by the greenery and the plants and the trees, so we went looking for a bit more of a dense part into the forest, and we found a very nice spot. And I really wanted to make my shots a bit more dreamy, because at the end of the day we were going for a majestical feel to the photos, so I decided to use my little handy trick, and that is applying Vaseline on a Glad wrap that is covering your lens. I actually made a YouTube video on how I use this trick, and honestly it makes such a big difference in your photos when you want to go for that dreamy look. So I started using that. I felt like this was the perfect spot for the 50mm because it allowed me to go a little bit wider than the 85, and I was very happy with the results we were getting.
Yeah, beautiful. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is gorgeous.
At this spot, I was using the plants to create this depth of field in my photos. So I was just shooting over the plants, and by asking the model to use the surroundings, like holding a leaf for example, you create a bit more of a story in your photos as well. And when I'm shooting, I like to make all of my shots as diverse as possible to create a very complete set of photos. And to be honest, the lighting conditions weren't great at this time of the day, because the lighting was very harsh, because when the model was facing a little bit more down, it created a lot of shadows in her face. So what helps then is to ask the model to sort of point up the face a bit more, chin up into the lighting, because that way you fill up these shadows into the face. Because I always feel like when you have a lot of shadows in your model's face, it's a little bit distracting. So that's a little trick that can help you out, and it definitely helped me out, because this is the before and this is the after by tilting the head a little bit, and it just makes the biggest difference. And I can so imagine when you're photographing in a forest, it's a bit intimidating because there's just stuff happening everywhere. There are leaves, there are trees, because sometimes I can't find my angle in the first go. What really helps me then is to just keep moving around, trying to find nice framing, because at the end of the day, you're both there to create awesome photos. So if you just need a little bit more time to find your framing, that is totally fine. So the redwood forest has massive ferns on the ground, and I really wanted to shoot between those ferns because I felt like that would be such a cool photo. But like you've seen before, we couldn't even access the forest. But when we were trying to find a new location, I spotted some ferns along the road. So we decided to drive back and take our final shots there. And at this spot, we got so lucky with the lighting because there were these nice golden sun rays coming through the leaves, and I was just very excited. So we started shooting in between the greenery and having the sun backlit the model. Yeah, and that's where we sort of finished up the shoot, and I am so happy with how it went, even though we started off not really going as planned, but that's okay, because sometimes you end up at even cooler spots. So when it came down to the editing, we were obviously shooting in nature, and plants are green. No way. But I sometimes feel like the green of the plants is a little bit distracting in my photos, so I decided to make them a little bit more darker green. And that way they're less distracting and there's more focus on the model. And I decided to make my shadows a bit more purple by using the tone curve and making the midtones also a bit more purple. Because I feel like purple and green goes really well together, because then you get this like brownish feel to your photos. And when it came down to the highlights, I decided to make those a little bit more minty blue to really add to that magical feel of the photo shoot. And a little trick that really helped me out with blending all the colors together is using the white balance. So I decided to make my temperature a little bit more warm and the tint a bit more purpley. And I feel like that really blended the colors nicely together. And shooting portraits in a forest can sometimes make the background very busy and distracting, because there are a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, there is just a lot going on in the photo. And what really helps then to draw back focus to your model is to use a lot of masks and gradients. So I added some gradients from the bottom and from the sides and making it a little bit darker. And where the light was coming from in the photo, I accentuated that as well by using a radial gradient. And then as the cherry on top, I took out quite a bit of clarity and texture in the photo, because that way we created that nice dreamy feel in the photo that I was going for. And that is it. And if you have any more questions about this photo shoot, please let me know in the comment section below. And also I linked all my gear in the description as well, so you can easily find what I use on my photo shoots. Yeah, I really enjoyed this photo shoot. I hope you did too, and I also hope to see you in my next video. Okay, bye bye. That was a bit too close. Sorry. Bye.